very different from what you would normally call fundraising. We work with institutions, mainly countries, what we would call donor agencies, who have already made the decision to contribute funds to development aid. And our job is mainly to show them how they can achieve their goals and those of their taxpayers by working with FAO. So it's not what you would consider traditional fundraising. It's more of a question of partnership and achieving mutual goals between the donor, in this case a country, a donor agency, and FAO with our strategic framework and our own goals. We have some very ambitious goals, and the one which we subscribed to just recently in New York is the most ambitious of all, which is the eradication of hunger by 2030. And I can hardly think of a larger goal than that. We have many other ones as well, contributing to that one, reduction of poverty, and then we go all the way down the scale. Achieving those is, of course, the hard part. It takes not just technical solutions, but it takes work on the ground. It takes engaging with our partners, which are, of course, our member states, and it takes resources. It takes a lot of resources. There have been exercises done on costing what the achievement of the so-called Sustainable Development Goals are. There's a very wide range, but we are talking many, many billions. At the moment, FAO has a core budget of around $500 million a year provided by our member states. We also managed to obtain about $900 to $950 million in what we call voluntary contributions every year. This is a very generous amount, but is still short of our needs. Well, the first thing to remember is that all member states of FAO do contribute to our budget already in different measure. Some contribute very large amounts, some small amounts, but everybody contributes, and this is an important principle. So when we talk about resource mobilization from national entities, from countries, we're talking about incremental resources. So we already have a very strong relationship with these countries, with the donor institutions, and we build this up through regular engagement, presentations, meetings, many important fora that we attend around the world. There have been many events in the last 6 months and more coming up as well that we're very interested in. So that's, I would say, our regular engagement. We launch new initiatives regularly. We have major presentations on new events for all of our partners. And we have a bit of a special strategy for the private sector and for non-government institutions where they're not regular resource providers. And for that, we do special outreach missions. In many cases, we do technical meetings with our staff to work out where the best alignment is with our goals and how we can work together to achieve common objectives. The biggest challenges we're facing right now, of course, are financial constraints. Most countries in the world are still feeling the effects of the 2008 financial crisis. And even though there is some recovery, overseas development assistance has been reduced rather substantially. A few countries have increased their ODA, but most have reduced it very substantially. A second major issue that we're facing is a diversion. There are some very large humanitarian crises around the world. Obviously, the Syria-Iraq crisis is the biggest one, but obviously also Somalia, South Sudan, many others around the world. And life-saving needs, of course, do always have to come first. A large part of development assistance is now being absorbed by these humanitarian needs. And of course, that is very important, but we do also need to look at the impact of that on regular development programming. And it is noticeable.